starter question to you is in O Tobacco, you speak of your grandfather's devotion to the land and its crop. When did you first understand, recognize your connection to the land and that connection as a poet?
Um, I think early on, I came to live with my grandparents when I was 6 weeks old. And so I grew up on that farm. And um, my grandfather was a man from the hills who, he loved all of us, but his particular connection um, to the land and to the crops seemed sometimes more important, but just as important, I think, as his relationships with people. So his relationships with his land and the sort of routine. Wendell and Berry and I've talked a lot about this. The sort of routine of working the land and what's necessary, what time you have to get up, and sort of that rote walking out into the early morning and doing the morning chores and then coming back and doing the evening chores. And I saw that and was a part of all of that routine. And of course, each crop, the corn had its own cycle, the tobacco had its own cycle. When the calves went to the market was its own cycle. But there was something really special about tobacco for me as a child. And I saw the work and the hard work that was being done, but there was something special about the stripping room for me. Um, it was warm. It smelled, that smell of curing tobacco was in there. And then the sort of communal aspect of it too. All the farmers in our area would go in together, and they'd work in somebody's field and then work stripping and hanging in somebody's, and then they'd go to another farmer. And so they all sort of co-opted around and did that work. But at times, if there was not enough rain or if there was too much rain, you could see sort of the stress on my grandfather's face. But in the stripping room, as he graded or as he stripped, there's just something really beautiful about that sort of old fashioned roping. I don't know if they even still do that, the way that they would twist the tobacco. Um, that still stays with me, all the sensory details of that. Um, and the poem came years and years later. And someone was having a program at the Carnegie Center, actually. And someone said, tobacco, sweat, and love, or three words, something like that. And that poem just, I went straight to that memory, and that poem just came out. It was probably the only poem of mine that came out fully formed